Well, good afternoon and welcome once again to Eggs Orchids. Now, I've been busy all day trying to move things into the house from the greenhouse because we're having some terribly cold nights coming up, down to 3 or 4 degrees centigrade. So it's time they all went inside. But today we're just going to have a look at a couple of Renantheras. I've got the Renanthera Tom Thumb, which is a larger one, and the smaller one is a species of Philippinense. So I think we'll just talk about the Tom Thumb first, which is a cross between Renanthera inshutiana and a cross between Monachica. Well, the Tom Thumb, when it does flower, has sort of yellow blooms with red dots on it, and it comes from the Philippine Islands. Monachica and the inshutiana always like a moderate to higher light, but I'm afraid which they're not going to get in this part of the country in winter, but I'll give them as much light as possible without having to use the energy sapping Mars hydro lights, which I used to be left on for up to 14 hours a day. But with the price of energy, we can't afford to do that these days, so we'll manage best we can. Now, these plants should be kept, you can keep them in pots and treat them as you would any Vandaceous plant. And they will also grow well in baskets, probably better in baskets. The Monachica species of this plant is classed as a miniature, and it blooms in late winter or early spring, and it should have many creamy coloured flowers with red polka dots on it. Now, Monachica, also known as the dancing girl Renanthera, water on it should be reduced in the winter months, from late autumn to winter, so it becomes almost dry for 3 or 4 months. Now, the inshutiana, which is the other half of this plant, unlike the Monachica, which is classed as a miniature, this species is a medium or a large size plant. It needs a warm condition, just like the inshutiana, but this one is also has cool growing with it. It produces lots and lots of flowers on a long spike, which should be a bright red with a tinge of yellow at the base. Watering is the same as the other half of the plant, which, as I said before, is water it like a Vandaceous and ease off the water into virtually nothing in the winter time, unless it's showing signs of dehydration, and then give it a spray. As regards fertiliser, it's evidently you're not going to fertilise these when they're in the winter drying period. But when they're coming out of that and when they start showing new growth, then begin your heavy watering, and also include, which will be beneficial to the growth of the plants, some nitrogen. And come the summer months, remove the nitrogen and substitute it with phosphorus fertiliser. Keeping them dry in winter, it also helps it to it needs a dry winter to help the spikes develop in later on the following year. Now, as you know, all these plants are monopodial. That means they just all stem out from one stem, and they don't have any branching stems at all. And they can grow so big that they need chopping down occasionally, especially from the lower leaves downwards. They can become very straggly and very long, but you cannot chop them down to the lower part of the plant where the leaves are until you get plenty of roots coming out from the plants. But then you can chop it down to whichever length you like. Now this is the Renanthera philippinensis. This is a true species, and this is classed as a miniature plant. And this is the Renanthera, which I'm going to repot in a minute. It needs to go in a bit larger pot, I think, because when I put it firstly in this one about 6 months ago, it had quite big roots then, so I'm expecting that they will have grown, so it needs to go in a much larger pot. For the care of these, it's exactly the same as I've told you the previous one. And of course, this philippinensis, being a true species, it is not as easy to flower as the hybrids. But if you can manage to get this to flower, then, well, you won't be disappointed with the results you get, because the flowers are a beautiful red colour. Anyhow, I'll get to repot this one. Well, we'll take it out of its pot, remove the label, not forgetting it's put back in. I'll just loosen the pot. It should come out quite easily, because these are part, excuse me, and again. These type of plants are, of course, epiphytes, and they like to be planted in a largest bark as possible, you know, to give them air, and that's why they need watering quite regularly in summer months, because they'll dry out very quickly. Oh, well, this is hard. Yeah, these roots have grown pretty well, as you can see, and they need to go in a much larger pot. But I'll use the same bark with a bit more added, and we'll get this one planted up. There's a nice root there, which is showing a nice green tips, as these are. But we'll just get this planted up anyhow. I mean, as you can see, these are beautiful green colour, the top leaves. The lower leaves are just withering now and going a little bit yellow. So we'll not bother about that, as long as they keep growing on top. And down in the middle there is the start of another new leaf growing. Well, I'm moving up a size in pots from the green one there to this clear pot, which is up full of holes, which will give the plant plenty of air. Being epiphytes is what they need. Put some polystyrene chippings down at the bottom for drainage, so that it drains very quickly and needs watering quite often. So we'll get the plant, just put it in about for size. Yeah, that's a nice fit, that. So we'll just put the new bark in it, together with some of the old bark. Try and centralise it as much as possible. So that's sitting up really nice now. So this doesn't need pressing down, because the large roots on it will push it against the side of the pot, which will hold it in place. There you are, and that's all that's needed for this Renanthera philippinensis. And I've just noticed on the Enshutiana if I can get it focused. There's a flower spike coming up there, so that'll develop through the winter and probably bloom in early spring, so look forward to that one. Well, those are the two plants, and hopefully we should see some very nice blooms on this early spring. And I've just noticed round the back here, roots growing again. You see them there, so that's a good sign. So the only thing I can say is now thank you very much for watching. Hope this has helped someone, and until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.